I'm going to try to keep it over here. What's going on, everybody? I believe we are live. Let me know when you're on here and that you are live. I will know it because you guys are going to start to tell me that we're live. So just comment below. Let me know that we're on there. I'm going to look over here and see if I show up yet. As always, we'll get ready a couple minutes to get in here. I think we are live, though. So let's just give it a minute here. Tom, you seeing it? All right, guys, if you're coming in here, just give it a minute. We're gonna let everybody kind of filter in. We try to start as on time as possible. But we also need to let people get in here, so we'll get going. So welcome to all of you. As you're coming in, as I always say when we do this, guys, as you're coming in, just make sure to let us know where you're coming in from. Say hello to everybody. We got kind of a really cool community here with a lot of people. So yeah, the numbers are jumping. I'm loving, by the way, the we're using the whole StreamYard thing. So like mine, I think you're on Facebook, whatever you're on, but mine actually groups everybody together and puts it into one spot. And it's pretty freaking cool. Like when you start seeing the numbers and like them coming in, it's really, really cool. So what's up, everybody? It looks like you guys are already doing it. Say hello to each other. Say good morning. We've honestly got people coming in. I've already seen like 8 different countries. People have responded and told me the countries they're coming in from. Let me know a couple things. Number one, say hello to everybody. Let me know where you're coming in from. And if you're with an office, do me a favor and let me know how many people you are watching with. Because that's always the cool thing to me is like, it's not the number that we see. It's actually a much larger number because a lot of you are watching with 4 people, 40 people, 8 people, 80 people, whatever it is. I'm going to look at these comments for a minute and then we're going to get going. So just keep on coming in, keep on saying hello, guys. I'm seeing people here that I recognize. What's up, guys? So cool. Some of you have been around a long time. So I don't know if that's awesome because you've stuck around or if it just means I'm getting old. So I guess there's 2 ways we can look at that. Okay, I'm seeing that. All right. I'm seeing someone said like 40, one said 5. Very cool. Again, these numbers are growing right now. So as you're coming in right now, guys, just say hello. Do me a favor, share this. Hit that share button, guys, like I say all the time. I told you last time, we did this last month, and I said that if enough people shared it, and I felt like it was getting out to a lot of people, we'd do more of these. And so that's what I'm doing here. If enough people are getting a hold of this and it's worthwhile to do these, I'm going to do more of these live trainings. So do me a favor, hit that share button, share it with your network. Let's get your colleagues in here. I think right now we are going to, more than ever, we need to help each other. And we need pros in this market. We need training. And I saw someone just posted a comment and said, am I going to mention anything about the lawsuits? Abso-freaking-lutely, yes. I got plenty to say about that. In fact, I'm going to try to not make it take up the whole call. I'll probably spend about 5-10 minutes on that. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what it means. We're going to talk about how you need to be responding. We're going to talk about, how do you talk to your consumers about it? Yeah, we're going to do plenty of talking about that. Okay. So I'm going to give it 1 more minute. We're going to get started. I like to start on time. So I'm going to give it 1 more minute here. Again, as you're coming in, do me a favor. Just comment below. Let us know where you're coming in from. That's always so cool for me, not only from this perspective, but when I look afterwards and I look at all the comments, it's so cool to see like all the different places you guys are coming in from. And quite frankly, it makes me feel like the travel is worth it. Okay. All the travel that I've done. So let me know where you're coming in from. And if you're coming in from an office or you're watching with someone else, let me know how many people you're watching with. And then last but not least, hit that share button. And that's S-H-A-R-E, not C-H-E-R. We do not have a share button from that perspective. I don't know why these things enter my head, man. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyway, we're just about to start here. Got a lot of people coming in. It's pretty crazy. Make sure, guys, just to help us with the algorithm, hit that like, okay? Like this. Comment below. Let us know where you're coming in from. And then please, please, please hit that share button. Let's share this with everybody else. S-H-A-R-E. Hit that share button. About 20 seconds. We're going to get going here. And I got plenty to share with you today, okay? You're going to want to take a lot of notes. I'm going to, as I usually try to do, I am going to try to stick around and answer as many questions as possible. I know I said that on the last live training, and then all of a sudden, like I got to the end and I looked at the chat and it went like right, and I couldn't keep up. So I'm going to try to do better today and hang out as long as we can. I have scheduled time in my calendar to be here. Even though this is the second most important thing I'm doing today. I hate to hurt all of your feelings, but my son is in the second round of the state tournament for soccer. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. All right. With that being said, let's get going here, guys. Like I said, we got a lot of people here. First thing, like I always do, we're going to start this off with a little contest, okay? I've got a couple things I'm going to give away today. The first thing that I'm going to give away is, and I'm assuming, by the way, just by the fact that you're all commenting, Tom, you're over there, that my sound is good. You guys can hear me. Do me a favor, if you can hear me and see me fine, just hit that like button on the actual live right now. Just hit like, give it a thumbs up. That'll let me know I'm good to go. Last thing we want to do is we want to, do a big long training and then get to the end and figure out it was an absolute crap show and nobody could hear me. So I think we're doing okay. We're doing 2 giveaways today. The first giveaway we're going to do. How many of you were at the 2023 Jared James Advance in Nashville last month, which is weird to say last month. We already have our next one scheduled. So it's going to be October 28th and 29th in Nashville, Tennessee. Same place. We're giving away a pair of tickets, okay? All you have to do to make sure to have a chance to win, we'll draw a winner this weekend, is you have to make sure you like this post, that you commented below, that you're following on all the platforms. That's why we have connectwithjared.com up there, and you have to share this live stream, okay? So you got to be following here. You got to be following on Instagram. If you're on TikTok, you got to be following on TikTok. Whatever you're on, make sure you're following. Share this training right now, and we're going to pick a winner. We're going to look at all this stuff. We're going to pick a winner this weekend. So our first contest is we're giving away a pair of tickets to the 2024 Jared James Advance. And it's crazy, guys. Like, I hear that and I get a little bit of anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, I got to come up with days and days of content all over again. But rest assured, I have already started notes on for 2024. I'm already making notes and looking at things. And if there's ever been an easy time to create content, it's right now, because my God, is there a lot going on, right? There's, changes happening. There's freaking out happening. We'll get into that. Let's get started here, guys. First thing I want to say to you is take a lot of notes. A lot of you have asked how long this will go. Figure about 60 to 90 minutes. Okay. I will hang out as long as I can to answer questions. But look, when you talk about really prepping for 2024, 60 to 90 minutes is not a long time, okay? We can all do that if it means we're going to have a better year ahead, okay? So 60 to 90 minutes. Try to hold your questions if you can, because I won't see all of them as we go throughout. Try to hold them till the end. But if you come up with a great question, hold it and then give it to me at the end. And I will definitely try to answer as many as I can. I've got my team in here as well, trying to help and answer questions as well. So get ready to take lots of notes. One more time, hit that share button, guys. That's what really helps us, okay? Share this out. I say it all the time. As long as these are worth it for me to do, I'll do more and more of these lives, on many different topics. And by the way, they don't just have to be, business planning, social, real estate. I'll do entrepreneurial stuff. I'll do whatever you guys want to hear about. So hit that share button, get it out. Let's get your colleagues in here. Appreciate it. But take lots of notes. So I got asked recently when preparing for 2024, I got asked on a podcast and they said, what should agents be doing in January to make sure that they have a great 2024? And the answer to that question in my mind is very simple. Okay. And the answer is, number one, you don't wait until 2024. Okay. If you wait till January, it's already too late. It's about what you do right now. For any of you that have been in this industry for a while, you know that this business is cyclical. Okay. What you do now is what shows up later. So we don't wait till January. What we do is we schedule out our time now. Okay. Everything we're doing now, we're hitting a time of the season where people are going to start to take breaks and the holidays are going to hit and all this stuff. Figure out when you're working now and when you're not working now, and talk to your coach and get accountable. Because one of the number one ways that you can get ahead of other people in your industry, in your area, is just by staying consistent and working through the holidays. Doesn't mean you're not taking any breaks. It doesn't mean maybe you're not going out on Black Friday and acting like a psycho and trampling people for a Monopoly game. It doesn't mean like any of that. But know now when you're working, when you're not, and share that with your coach. Accountability is the number one tool to your success moving forward, because most of us, our issue is not that we don't know what to do. It's that we just don't do it, okay? And we're at a time right now where, let's face it, guys, there's a lot of stress in this industry, right? If you felt any stress, hit that like button on here. Like, if you felt any stress, there's a lot of stress right now. And I'm not going to deny that there's stress, but there's 2 effects that stress can have on you. Stress can wear you down. Stress is the number one cause of sickness and disease within your body. Or stress can also strengthen you in areas that you didn't even know that you needed strength. Stress can build resilience in you. You know, stress is what builds a muscle. And so we have to understand that we don't want to, not acknowledge these things exist. We want to use them to our advantage. We want to, steer into the curve, so to say, steer into the crash, so to say. And so you have to decide how you're going to handle stress, because stress is inevitable. And right now, this was already a stressful industry. There's a lot of stress right now. I have been saying for years that there's always two businesses that you're working on. For any of you that have followed me for any number of time, a lot of the things that I've said for years are now coming to pass. Like I've always said, there's two businesses you're working on. There's the business you're in, and there's business you're going to be in. You guys remember that? There's two businesses you're always working in: the business you're in and the business that you're going to be working in. Meaning things are always changing. It's not our job to work against change. It's our job to stay ahead of it and be ready for when that change happens, okay? And when you're always working on not only the business you're in, but the business you're going to be in, this keeps you from being afraid of change, because you know that you have built a business that is ready for change, that is ahead of change, that is ready for the future, and that the future is not supposed to look like it looks like right now. And we find ourselves right now in a place where, unless you've had your head buried in the sand, there's been some class action suits and some commissions cases. Have you guys heard about this? It's so funny to me because we live in a time right now where the prices of everything are going up all around you, and yet everybody wants realtors to make less money. And I'm like, how does that work? Gas goes up, food goes up, goods go up, everything goes up. But let's figure out how to get agents to make less money. I'm not really sure how that works. But that's what we're seeing right now. And if you have had your head buried under the sand and you're curious about what's going on right now, I'll give you kind of a high level, but I want to talk about what it actually means. But basically, there was just a case where there was a class action suit that ruled in favor of the plaintiffs. And it said that our industry was, and again, of course, there were specific companies, but our industry was conspiring to price fix commissions. Okay. Now, this is, I don't want to use the word hilarious to me, but if they ever actually got into our industry, most of these companies don't even like each other, let alone conspiring together to price fix commissions. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. Nobody's price fixing commissions. Like you can negotiate. You can go to a discount broker. You can list a house yourself. There's all these things you can do. Okay. And the response to this I've seen has been everything from all the way from hysteria to people who, like I said, just kind of bury their head in the sand and act like absolutely nothing's going on. But one thing I do want to make sure you understand is that real estate overall makes up 17% of our economy. And by the way, if you're watching this right now and you're not from the US, you're from outside of the country, just give me like 5 minutes, okay? And I'm gonna get to stuff that really matters to you. But we have a lot of people in the US right now that this matters to, okay? And so real estate makes up about 17% of the overall economy. Now, that should make you feel good, because they're not going to ruin real estate, okay? Real estate's sticking around, okay? Otherwise, the economy would completely collapse, okay? It's about 17%. In the end, we prevail, okay? And yet, when you look at this class action suit where they ruled in favor of the plaintiffs, the only ones that actually won were the attorneys, if you actually think about it. I mean, if you don't believe that, who benefited? Sellers didn't benefit. Buyers didn't benefit. Realtors certainly didn't benefit. This case, I look at it a lot like a divorce, right? The only one who wins the longer this goes on, and it takes longer to come to an agreement, are the attorneys, okay? And that's what you're seeing right here. They're not representing you. The process taking longer is what everybody is for. And at the end of the day, one of the major things that came from this is that sellers aren't going to be required to offer a buyer's agent a commission, okay? Now, I want everybody to step back and just take a breath for a second, because a lot of people have taken this and they've gone all over the place, okay? So take a breath, relax, okay? And I want you to understand, I run businesses that rely on the real estate industry, and I'm not worried. So this isn't just me being like, hey, relax, everybody. Like, I'm not worried. I've looked at this in depth. I've looked at what it means. And so they're talking about sellers, agents not being required to offer a buyer agent a commission. And I'd like to submit to all of you that I was not required to shower before I came on here live with thousands of you. I'm not required to wear shoes when I go out in public. I'm not required to chew with my mouth closed when I go out and eat at a restaurant. But I don't need a rule to tell me to do those things. It's in my best benefit to do so. So it really doesn't matter whether sellers are legally required to offer a buyer agent a commission or not. It's in their best benefit to do so. Do you realize that 98% of all sales that happened in the last 12 months, a buyer's agent brought the offer that ultimately made that transaction happen? 98%. So while a seller may not be required to offer out a commission, what good does it do them to not offer out a commission, right? It's in their best benefit to offer that commission. The real irony of this whole case is that the attorneys for the plaintiffs made the argument that realtors were price fixing, while they themselves, the attorneys, continue to collect their standard fee from their clients, which were negotiable. And those clients could have gone somewhere else. They could have represented themselves, but it wasn't advisable to do so. They still worked with those attorneys. Does that sound familiar to anybody? You know, for any of you that are out there and they're going like, I'm not really sure, you know, how do we respond to clients who bring this up? Well, first off, most of your clients don't know anything about this, just so you know. It's a big thing in the real estate world. The average consumer knows nothing about this. Like this is not what they're following, but we still need to be prepared. And so when you say, hey, how should I respond when somebody asks me about this, or, when they bring up the fact that the plaintiffs won, right? Well, we need to understand something. We need to make sure that we make them understand that the plaintiffs didn't win because they were right. They won because of just that. They won, okay? They won because the plaintiffs hired better attorneys than the defendants had. The plaintiffs had a choice of who they wanted to go to. They had a choice to pay a premium for a group of first-rate attorneys when they could have used cheaper ones. They could have represented themselves. And so the moral of the story is who you hire matters, whether you're hiring an attorney for a case or whether you're selling a home. The irony of this whole thing is exactly what they argued against was exactly what those attorneys were doing in representing this case. And their clients could have done exactly what any seller, any buyer, anybody could have done, but it wasn't in their best benefit to do so. And that's why they won. They didn't win because they were right. They won because they had better representation. I don't know what other example could be better when buying or selling the largest asset you're ever going to own during the third most stressful time in their life. And if a client brings that to you, you need to understand how to explain that to them, okay? Just because a jury went one way doesn't mean it was right. It means that they had better representation, okay? Now, do we need to understand buyer agency? Yeah, we do. Do you need to have a buyer agency agreement signed moving forward? Yes, you do. Now, the actual rules have not changed yet, and it'll be interesting to see if they do, because NAR and these other companies are going to appeal, okay? And I find it hard-pressed to believe that they're not going to win. But even if they didn't, it's not that big of a deal, okay? And so we all need to take a breath, relax. Do we need to have buyer agencies signed just in case to protect ourselves? Most states already require that. So if you're in a state that doesn't require that, that's not some major change, guys. Most places already require that. And quite frankly, it's not that difficult of a sell to have a buyer agency signed. When you don't have that, when the listing agent is dealing with the buyer, legally, the listing agent has a fiduciary responsibility, not to that buyer, but to the seller. Why would you go buy the largest asset you're ever going to own and not have representation? That does not sound smart at all. I had a listing agent a couple days ago come to me, and she was making the argument that, yeah, we shouldn't. We don't even need buyer's agents. I'll just sell my properties. I'll just, and she was making this argument. And I looked at her and I said, and I know this agent, and I know what her business is like. I said, so who's showing all of your homes? Who's doing all those showings, those 57 showings? Are you doing them? And she was like, she didn't think about that. And she's like, I said, isn't that why you got into being a listing agent? Because you were tired of driving people around, showing properties, being at every showing, so now you're going to do that? Like, guys, we really got to think this through. There was an actual advantage to having representation on the seller side and having representation on the buyer side. And as I said, it's really not that difficult of a sell. I started a company earlier this year called First Up. FYRSTUP. And my God, does that look good right now? Because what it does is it gives brokers the opportunity between the time that the listing is taken and the time that it hits the MLS. That time in between, in most places, there's what's called clear cooperation. You're not allowed to market that property to the public, but you're legally allowed to market it within brokerage. So we started this company called First Up that allows you to notify everybody. Basically, what it did was that it digitized the traditional whiteboard, where in the old days, you'd sit around that whiteboard, what's coming on, what's new, whatever. And now everybody in the brokerage finds out about properties before they hit the MLS in a completely compliant manner. They've got their buyer's info in there, and it's matching, buyer matching, and people are learning about properties and doing whatever. What a better sell in a market like we're heading into with these types of rules that are coming about, to be able to tell a buyer when trying to get the buyer agency agreement signed, hey, I've got a proprietary list of sellers only within my brokerage that you get to see, that no one else gets to see when you work with me. You can't get that when you work with anybody else, but we have a proprietary list of sellers that nobody else has access to. What an easy sell. You guys need to be looking at your strategy now and looking at tools like that, like firstup.com and these other ones. And like, what do we need to do to change in this climate that we're in to give people an advantage, to give them a reason to be signing that buyer agency agreement? Because whether the rules change or not, at the end of the day, you're going to want that to be signed now just to protect yourself, okay? And not for nothing, we can't be that shocked that this all came about. You know, you had a jury of peers, which weren't really peers, but who their idea of the industry is what they see on reality TV. And so when you have a whole world who is watching reality TV, who think that real estate agents don't work at all, they think that getting a real estate license means that it comes with bigger boobs, a better looking spouse, and a nicer car. And then the majority of the agents in our industry start trying to reflect that. You can't really be shocked when a jury gets on and goes, well, that's what they are. Like, that's what that's what that industry is. They're taking advantage. You can't be that shocked when that happens. Guys, we're at a time right now where pros need to step up. Okay. How many years now have I been saying pros versus amateurs, pros versus amateurs? You're seeing come to pass what I've been saying now for a while. And I want to encourage you, before I really get into what I'm going to talk about today, we as an industry, we have been through a major financial crisis. We have been through a pandemic. And we are now potentially going through something where a day before that ruling, a seller was legally allowed to put on an MLS $1 as the amount they were offering to the buyer broker. And after that ruling, if it holds true, they are now able to put $0. Not that big of a difference, guys. Take a breath, relax, okay? Pros are going to win. And what I want you to remember is, regardless of any rule changes come or don't come or whatever it is, it's going to be the same rules for everybody. We're all going to be playing on the same chessboard. And at the end of the day, the best pieces, the best players are still going to win. As long as the rules are not rigged against me, it's still me against this person, me against this. It's still that situation. If you won before, if you prepare properly, if you get with your coach and you have a plan and you stick to it, you stay accountable, those people are going to win. Now, are we going to lose a lot of people who probably shouldn't have been in our industry to begin with? Yes. We've lost over 100,000 people in our industry just since January alone in the US. I'm only talking about. I'm not even talking about all these other countries that are on here right now. In the US alone, over 100,000 people have left the industry. Now, you can call that the industry shrinking, or you can call it, which I choose to look at it, which is pruning. If you've ever grown a plant, if you've ever done, there's a difference between dying, shrinking, and pruning. Okay. In order to grow larger, in order to do better, you have to prune. You have to prune off the areas that don't belong. And I think that there are a lot of agents that are leaving our industry. I think there's going to be a lot of listings you're not going to lose anymore to somebody's grandkid who does this part-time. And I, for one, am not sad about that. Now, there are also going to be some good people who should make it that are going to end up having to leave our industry because they're not going to take heed of some of the advice I'm going to talk about today. They're not going to get their mind right. They're not going to have the right strategy. They're going to still be doing what they were doing 10 years ago and hoping that it has the same effect today. And that will not work. I don't know how else to stress this to you guys. This is a pros market. And we need pros to step up. We need pros to step out of this fear mentality. We need pros to stop focusing on everything that these outside forces want you to focus on. You know, I did a video on Instagram the other day. I hope you guys watched it. And I said, in my experience, whenever those outside forces try to tell you what to focus on, it's because they don't want you to see what's in the other hand. It's like a great magician act, okay? Stop letting other people control what you focus on, that you have no control over, okay? That is what average to below average people do. And I hope to God that my community that follows me has been risen up enough to understand that is not you, okay? We have a core of people who succeeded last year, will succeed this year, will be succeeding 10 years from now. Will there be changes? Absolutely. But we've talked all along about there are two businesses you're in, the one you're in and the one you're going to be in. And as long as that's your mentality, you have nothing to worry about, guys. Like, we are good at what we do. We are pros. We're going to eliminate some fat. We're going to prune. We are pros and we will move forward. Take a breath, okay? It's okay. Stop focusing on buying into this fear and everything being a bombshell and everything being relax. These outlets don't make money if you're calm. I just want you to remember that, okay? We went through the time where, you know, everybody freaked over COVID, and then they tried to get us with monkeypox, but everybody didn't bite. And every other day they're trying to find the next thing to freak you out. Relax. Take control over yourself, okay? If you're here, it means you've overcome everything that's ever come your way. I want you to remember that. Relax. Trust yourself. Trust the people around you. You're good enough to be on something like this and train. Take a breath and relax, okay? So with that being said, I want to get into the actual training today. I'm going to say one more time, do me a favor if you're watching this. We have thousands of people on right now, which is so freaking cool. Do me a favor if you're watching this right now and just hit that share button, okay? Let's share this. Let's get more people on here. Let's get your colleagues on here. Let's help people today. That is my goal. Give me your attention. Like I said, guys, 60 to 90 minutes for the next 30 to 60 minutes. Give me your attention. I'm going to help you as much as I can. I think it's worth it for the next year for you to do well within this business. You guys know that I do this because I love you guys. It's my life's goal to be able to help more people like you. I'm doing this 100% free today. So give me your attention. Let's have some good things come from it. Invite your colleagues. Remember, there's enough room for everybody. There's enough business for everyone to do well. When a market drops by 20 or 25%, it means 75 to 80% of the highest market we've ever seen is still going to happen. Get rid of that scarcity mindset, okay? People who are very successful, they don't have a scarcity mindset, but they do wake up every single day afraid of the idea of not being enough and not doing enough, and it's what drives them to do better. So hold on to that, but let go of that scarcity mindset. So hit that share button, guys. We're going to get started. I'm going to talk about 5 things I want you focusing on in the new year, okay? You guys ready? If you're ready, hit that like button. I'll see that you guys are ready, okay? Let's do this. First thing I want to focus on is a thing we do every single year. So I have to cover this year after year because it's what matters, right? We talk about get clear on the benchmarks that matter, okay? The benchmarks, the numbers, the part that a lot of us don't like. I've said it many times. You assess where you are now or you regret where you end later. It's really that simple, okay? It's never the result that matters. It's what happened beforehand that creates the results. I've been going around lately and telling people it's not about the closing, it's about the conversation. The conversations are what ultimately create the results. And last but not least, how many times over the years have you guys heard me say, if you focus on results, you'll get what? Frustration. But if you focus on process, you'll get results. If you focus on results, you'll get frustration. But if you focus on process, you will get results, okay? I'm going to share this with you guys. You're all going to get a copy of this. I'll give you the link to it. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Tom, can you see this, the digital plan? Awesome. If it's a little blurry for you, don't worry. That could be your internet connection. That could be whatever. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but this is one of the things that you guys are getting for free. It's our updated digital planner. By the way, I'll show you one more thing. I'm going to jump off of this and I'll show you one thing also. The other thing that you guys are getting for free is we are going to, let me pull it up here. We're going to give you our 2024 business plan. Okay. Tom, can you see this? Give me a thumbs up when you can. Yes, yes, yes. Give me thumbs. Awesome. So this you're going to go through first, the actual business plan. And this is what's going to give you direction. It's going to give you the numbers that you need to be looking at. It's going to do a recap. This is going to take you about 5-10 minutes. You're going to need to do some real research on who your customer is, what your last year has looked like. And at the end of the day, we're going to take all of those numbers, and then ultimately we're going to, let me jump back over to the tracker. We're going to take those numbers, we're going to put them into this tracker, okay? It's well worth it to do it. But I'm not focused on that first one, that business plan. That's where you're going to put all the numbers in, you're going to come up with who your client is and all that kind of stuff. I am not interested in you focusing on a 15-page business plan. I think you all know that it feels good, it sounds good, seems like something you should be doing, but when June comes and you're not sure where to focus, 99% of you are not pulling out a 15-page business plan to figure out where you went wrong, okay? And so what I learned from that is that we need to keep it simple. And that's what this is, this tracker. Tom, you can see this tracker? This tracker that we're looking at right now, I wonder if I can make this a little bit larger if it gets too large. Let's see. This tracker, when you open it, is going to have none of these numbers in here. You're going to put your own numbers. So you're going to put in whatever your goal is. I put mine as 250,000, okay? And I put in just an average commission. You can put in whatever yours is. But whatever I change this to, it's going to change the numbers. So if yours was 10,000, it's going to change these numbers. That's how many transactions you need. I'm just putting 8,000, okay? When I put all of these numbers in, how many listing appointments I did in the previous year, how many of those I listed, how many I sold, it gives me a closing percentage. I then did the same thing with the buyers. How many potential buyers did I deal with in the last year? You're going to have to actually go look this stuff up. We need to get specific to your business. If you're a newer agent, talk to your broker, talk to some local realtors, and see what your numbers should look like, and then lowball it a little bit. You always want to kind of figure on the better side there, okay? What I did here was this told me I needed 31 transactions. Out of those 31, I wanted 20 to be listings and 11 to be buyers. And once I did all that, I said I'm going to work 50 weeks a year right here. Everything that's red is what I plugged in, okay? What this did was it gave me the only thing that matters on this whole thing, which is this right here. Forget about your 15-page business plan. Forget about all of that. The only thing that matters is this right here. And it's going to be different for each one of you. So you need to know what your specific numbers are. But based on the numbers that I put in, it said that I needed 4 appointments a month and 1 appointment a week to hit my numbers, which is crazy when you think about it. Because a lot of you see that and you're like, that's it? I need 1 proactive appointment a week to hit the numbers he just showed? Yeah, that's it. And it shows how all of us are busy, but not all of us are productive, okay? Not all activity, okay, is a production, okay? Not all activity is progress, okay? We need to remember that. I use this example at the Advance, and it's so true. A lot of people in the industry, they're all busy, but they're getting different results. And it's the difference between somebody who goes outside and runs a 5K and somebody who steps on a treadmill and runs a 5K. And when they're both done, they're both equally exhausted, but one is 3.11 miles ahead and one is exactly where they started on the treadmill. They're both busy, they're both active, but one ended up somewhere and one didn't. And a lot of us right now, we have a treadmill business going on. We have treadmill activities, okay? And we don't want to have those, okay? And I'll give you guys the link in a little bit where you download that business plan, that business tracker, that whole thing. We need to stop running a treadmill business. We need to do things that actually work. Not all activity is actual progress. And what those numbers do, 1 appointment a week, your numbers are going to be different for you. But whatever those numbers are, our whole schedule, our whole calendar needs to be built around that specific thing. What do I need to do to get that thing? But it also gives you direction and lets you know where you are. Because when you ask the majority of people, hey, where are you? What's your GCI at this year? They'll say, I'm at about means you don't know, okay? And the beauty of knowing your exact numbers, those exact calendar, is that sometimes Tuesday at 11 a.m., I have set the number of appointments I need for the week, and I know I'm on track. And sometimes Friday at 6 p.m., you're 1 behind, or you have not hit your numbers. But it doesn't matter how busy you are, you have a tangible number that lets you know where you are in relation to your goal and when you need to put the pedal down and when you're doing okay. And that's what those numbers do. And those are what are called lead and lag measures. Lag measures are results. Lead measures are the process that lead to the results. We need to focus, especially the market we're heading into now. where productivity is going to come down to pros and the people doing the right things, the ones running on the road and not running on the treadmill, the ones that are actually getting places. We're going to need to start to get specific about what we're doing and knowing exactly where we are, because it's called running a business, right? We did a session at the Advance. We talked about busyness versus business, BUSY versus BUSI, two completely different things. They look similar, but they're different. So the first thing you're going to do for the new year is get clear on the benchmarks that matter. And for any of you, I'll pull this up right now, that want to download that business plan, it should show in front of you now. Tom, give me a heads up when you see it there. We're going to give that to you 100% free, okay? So you just go to jaredjamestoday.com/business plan. Tom, if you could post it in the chat too, that'd be great. But it's right there for you guys, jaredjamestoday.com/business plan. I will put it at the end as well. Open it in a new window. Please don't leave the live, okay? I will put that in a... I'll mention this at the end as well. We'll get all this stuff out to you guys. You're going to get both the business plan and the business tracker 100% free. Please use it, guys. At the end of the day, all year long, you need to understand where you're at and focus on the process, not the result. The process will keep you on track. And sometimes your result will be higher than normal, lower than normal. But by the end of the year, if you focus on process, you'll be where you need to be. Trust me, guys, I've done this a long time, and I've done it with just a few people, okay? Process, process, process. Lead measures over lag measures. It's not results. When you get on a scale and you don't like what it says, it's not the scale that you need to get angry at. It's the brownie and a half that you had the night before. Lead measure, lag measure, okay? So that's number one. Number two, the next thing. And by the way, for a lot of you, in fact, I'll even show this to you. For a lot of you that are curious about, you know, what kind of lead measures can you do? Like what kind of activities can you do on a regular basis? If you go into, let me pull this up real quick. If you go into Facebook, which I believe I'm on right now, you guys can see this. Tell me if this changes, Tom, when I go to the group. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to go to the group over here. Give me 1 second here, guys. Jared James Coaching. Do you see, I know you're on a little bit of a delay, but do you see Jared James Coaching? Did that switch for you? Did it switch up? Give me a thumbs up. Yes, yes. Perfect. Okay. When you go into on Facebook, Jared James Coaching, you don't need to go there now. When you go there, though, if you hover over here and you go to Files, you will find so many templates, so many campaigns, so many things that you can be doing as far as on a consistent basis to stay ahead, to gain business on a regular basis. Neglected client, Core 100, still want to sell. There's so many things here for you guys. All you need to do is take advantage of it, okay? So go there after. It's 100% free. That group is there for you. You definitely want to take advantage of that. That'll be a winner for you, okay? So Jared James Coaching, it's right on Facebook. That is available for you. Next up, the second thing I want us focused on. We need to get our finances right. Money. Money matters, guys. If you're taking notes right now, I've covered this for years, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but money is pretty simple when it comes to real estate, okay? What you want to do is every check that comes in, okay? We got a lot of new people on here. You never collect a commission check in your personal name, okay? The government thanks you when you do that. You're paying more taxes. You need to set up either an LLC or an S Corp. Talk to your accountant about which one's better for you. But you need to have a business name the commission is going into. You need to have a business bank account. And every time a check is deposited, you can set up automatic rules. No matter what bank you're using, you can set up automatic rules where 35% goes to your tax account, 25% goes to your business account, 25% goes to your personal account, and 15% goes to your savings and your investment. If you want to run a productive business, you got to get your money right, okay? So 35% goes to your tax account. It's a separate account where it's connected to the main and automatically just goes over. 25% goes to your business account. That's where you pay your business expenses. That's where you pay your office fees. That's where you buy your stuff for your business. That's all of that. 25% goes to your personal. That's where you're paying your mortgage or your rent. That's where you're going out to eat. That's where, all of that stuff. And 15% goes to your savings and your investment. Savings, okay? We need to, when it comes to this money thing, look, guys, this isn't a money training. I have by the way, a lot of these things I talk about, when I said, hey, there's a lot of strategies you can follow to create business. I've got videos on Instagram, videos on YouTube that cover many different ways to create business. I've got a training that we have up on YouTube, okay? I think it's called Real Estate Finances 101. If you go to my YouTube channel and you scroll down to where it says webinar trainings, there's a full training just on finances that goes in depth, 100% free. Go check it out, okay? And you'll see all this stuff. But our mentality on money needs to change. You don't make money. People are like, I got to make more money. You don't make more money. There's no such thing as making more money. Money is already made. Like, especially if you're in the US, all the money in the world's been printed. Like, we've printed more money the last 2 years than in the history of our country. The money's already there. You're not making it, okay? Your job is to go out there and get in the way of it, to get the share that you think you deserve. And what I'm telling you right now, when I say you don't make money, your job's to get in the way of what's already happening, is that if the only way you're making money in real estate is commissions, you're missing out, okay? That you have to have many ways to get in the way. Now, I've said to you guys so many times here, don't just listen to what I'm saying, watch what I'm doing, right? Like, how many times have I said that to you? Look at what I'm doing, guys. So most of you know me as a real estate coach, speaker, trainer, right? We have thousands of students, the whole thing, right? Look at what else I'm doing. Many of you that are watching right now, you've paid to come to the Advance. You have paid to come to a mastermind. By the way, our next mastermind in Vegas, February 4th and 5th, that'll sell out quick once we launch that. We have other companies, right? So we have, by the way, you guys have also been in virtual coaching, brokerage-wide coaching. A lot of you have been in that. We launched a tech company called First Up, FYRSTUP. We just acquired another company called Broker Assist that we haven't even launched to you all yet, another tech company. We have Cleared and Closed, a transaction coordination company. We have Jarja Media, a marketing company. What am I telling you? I'm saying, stop just listening to what I'm saying. Watch what I'm doing. I have all of this contact with all of you, and what I'm doing is I am getting in the way of where the money is already flowing, right? I am not making money because money's already made. You guys are going to spend money on these things anyway. I'm putting myself in a position to be the one you spend it with. So if you're only making commissions, you're limited right now. It's not enough. Like, do you have ads you're selling on your website? That's completely allowed. Don't you have mortgage people and title people and contractors and inspectors and all these people who could be buying ads on your site to be your preferred people? Don't you, like, that's more money you could be making. We teach that at the mastermind, by the way, in depth, how you do that, right? Do you have revenue coming off of your podcast? Like, you're the source of everything that happens. Do you have investments? You're the first one many times that sees what's going on with investment properties in the area. You don't have to bring money. When I first started selling real estate, I was on Flip This House on A&E. I was doing all these investments. I didn't use $1 of my own because I had what I needed, which was access to the properties. And now I brought people with money and I had them buying the properties, but I was spending the time and finding the deals. Are you making money that way? Do you have ancillary services, which is something we taught at the last Advance, right? Are you running your business like a business, or are you just collecting commissions? We need to start looking at money differently. We don't make money. We get in the way of the flow. It's already there. How do we put ourselves in a position to collect more of it so we get what we ultimately deserve and we're not leaving stuff on the table? One more time, don't just listen to what I'm saying, guys. Watch what I'm doing. A lot of you are going to see me in the coming years here doing a lot more entrepreneurial stuff, training entrepreneurs in addition to training you as real estate people, right? That's me doing exactly what I'm telling you you need to be doing. So step 2 is get your money right, which means getting your mind about money right, which leads into our third point, which is get your mind right, okay? I wrote a book years ago called Get Out of Your Way, and it could never be more relevant than right now, right? Like, we are, I've said for the last couple of years, when everything gets crazy, when everyone else gets crazy, make sure you don't, right? And I said at the beginning of this call that, you know, they drive everybody crazy with COVID, and then they went monkeypox, and now we got an election coming up, and now there's lawsuits, and now they're just all these attacks on your peace, all these attacks on your peace. It's all an effort to get rid of your peace and to get you, because they don't make money when you're peaceful. We have got to start to prepare your peace. Protect your peace. What did I say to you about 20 minutes ago? I said, if you're here right now, it means that you've overcome everything that's come your way. And sometimes you have to remind yourself of that. Sometimes you can't just focus on where you're going and how far you have to go. Sometimes you have to focus on how far you've come. You have to remind yourself how battle tested you are. You have to remind yourself how prepared you are. You have to remind yourself how strong you are because you're here. You've overcome everything. But what we have to remember from a mental perspective moving forward is that in 2024, what you'll get, what you'll do will have nothing to do with what you're capable of. This isn't the NBA draft. They don't draft based on potential. What you're going to do moving forward, what I'm going to do moving forward, will have nothing to do with what I'm capable of. It'll have everything to do with what I'm committed to and I have a plan for. What am I held accountable to? That's all that's going to matter. Potential is not going to matter. What you're capable of doesn't matter. What is it that you have a plan for? What is it that you're committed to? That's what's going to ultimately matter. I've been talking a lot at live events lately, and I did this at the Advance, but it's so true. We have a world right now that is just filled with anxiety. Children have anxiety. Adults have anxiety. And we all know that, we're creating this anxiety. And anxiety is really just a fear or a worry of something to come that has not happened. It's a fear of something that's not there. And there was a study that came out recently, and they found that for the first time in history, they can now prove that hope is created not only from your brain and by you, but from the exact same place that we're creating anxiety. And more importantly, they can't exist at the same time. It's like a light switch. Turn the light on, there's no darkness. Turn the light off, darkness, no light. They can't exist in the same space. And we are controlling them. That's what's crazy about this, right? And while anxiety is a fear or a worry of what's to come that has not happened, hope is an expectation of what's to come, which also hasn't happened. But one is positive and helps you and makes you feel good, and one is bad and leads to disease and leads to fear and and they literally pinned it down to the thing that controls these two things, hope and anxiety. When we talk about getting your mind right, is literally the difference between activity and inactivity. When you get into a place of inactivity and you sit around and you worry and you read all about all these commission things and you go, what's going to happen and what's going to whatever, anxiety builds up and you don't do anything. You curl up in the corner like a feeble little baby and you're not sure what to do. And meanwhile, the market, your consumers, everybody ticks forward, forward, forward because they're a conveyor belt. They're always moving and you stay still and get anxious. But when you get in a place of activity and you start to do something, anything creates hope. And more than creates hope, it creates an atmosphere, a place where anxiety can't even exist, okay? And so literally activity is the solution to that anxiety. It's what actually creates that hope for you. And so some of you need to start to get into, hey, what are the 2 or 3 activities that I'm going to do from now on? And that's it every single day. So I'm doing something. Hey, I'm going to start exercising on a regular basis because I need to be in activity because I want hope and not anxiety. Both of them are an expectation of something that hasn't happened, right? But one gives you something good and one does not. You need to remember that when we look at 2024, everything we do is created twice. It's created first here, and then it's created in the physical. We think about it, we dream about it, we plan for it, and then we do it. And so a lot of you need to get into a place where you start to go, what am I changing? What am I doing? Where am I going? And you need to plan it here. Every business I own, guys, every part of my portfolio, everything I've done, it happened twice. It happened here, and then it happened there. Every large stage that I get on, I don't get nervous because by the time I get on that stage, I've done it so many times here. By the time I get there, I'm just fulfilling what already should have been, right? And so we have to learn how to control this thing for the benefit of us instead of the negative of us. Because right now, most of us, while we're worrying about everybody else, we're losing before we ever begin because we're losing the battle right here, okay? So number 3 is get your mind right, okay? Every day, every moment, you got to constantly think about it. Number 4, if you're taking notes, number 4, and I'll recap these at the end. Number 4 is you got to dig deeper into your database. I've been saying this lately, and it's so true, guys. We are not, for how many years now have I talked about lifetime value? It's not about recreating, it's lifetime, over and over, the same clients, right? Guys, we are not a Tinder industry. And if you don't know what that means, it's probably better. We're not a Tinder industry, guys. We are eHarmony. We're about the relationship. We're about the marriage. We're not about the one-timer. And yet most of us are acting like we're in a Tinder business and not an eHarmony business. It's about the lifetime value of the client. Right now, your database, your sphere is what matters. If I could see each one of you right now, for those of you that are worried about the business and worried about whatever, I would love to walk up to you, see you, and say, how many people are in this thing right here? How many of you are in this thing? How many people are in your phone? How many people are in your database? How many people are in your CRM that you have not contacted in the last 90 days? How many? Probably a lot. And yet there's more things to talk about right now than ever before. What's going on in the market, what these lawsuits mean, what's going on, what their value of their house is. Has the house gone up, gone down, what are there's so many things to talk about, but you can't wait for them to come to you. You know, the bigger that the world becomes, you guys want my secret? Here's my secret for my businesses. Here's my secret for my life. Here's my secret for my entrepreneurial journey. The bigger the world becomes, the smaller that I make it for my community. The more followers I get on social media, the more I answer DMs and talk to people. Because the bigger the world becomes, the smaller I need to make it for my community. That's how you win. And so while we're worried about all these other things and all these apps and all these everything else, how many people in your database, how many people in your CRM, how many people in your phone have you not talked to, contacted, made an effort in the last 90 days? What if you did 10, 20 people every day, reached out, just trying to start conversation? What would that look like? I did that with a gentleman I was talking to recently, and he came back to me 3 weeks later and he goes, Jared, you won't believe this. And I'm thinking, I would. I'm not a steak oil salesman. I actually believe the stuff I say. He's like, I've listed 3 properties from doing what you're saying every day, reaching out to the people in my phone. I've got 2 more listing. Yeah, that's how it works. It's called proactive. It's called being an option. It's called being in front of them. More importantly, it's called visibility. You know, I've said for years again that visibility trumps ability, but we're in a new age right now. Visibility not only trumps ability, but for all of you that were at the advance last month, you know where I'm going. Visibility is my responsibility. Visibility not only trumps ability, visibility is my responsibility. And you are not in high school anymore. And what do I mean by that? When you're in high school, it's all about not being rejected. It's all about being cool. It's all about everybody liking you. When you get out of high school, it's all about being rejected. It's all about being an option, being in front of them. We're not in high school anymore. Okay, the last thing you want to do is peak in high school. Okay, we're in what I call the economy of convenience. 68% of people who used an agent buying or selling a home in the last 12 months worked with an agent who did between 0 and 2 transactions in the previous 12 months. Did you guys just hear what I just said? That's insane. 68% of buyers and sellers worked with an agent in the last 12 months who that agent had done between 0 and 2 transactions in the last 12 months. Why? Because they were an option, not because they were the best. We're in the economy of convenience. When you call an Uber to come pick you up, when that Uber gets there, you don't check it out and go, is this the highest ranked best Uber in the area? Or you just go use the Uber because it's available. And that's what people are doing. And they're doing that with real estate people too. But it is your responsibility to be visible. Visibility trumps ability, but visibility is your responsibility, which means that we've got to do everything we can to be visible every day. It means when you saw that social training that I did last month, where I talked about pulling up an article on Keeping Current Matters, or pulling up an article on CNBC, screenshotting it, putting it behind you, and doing a green screen reel on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and just talking about the article. If you're not doing that 2 to 3 times a week, you're not being visible. If you're not taking a lot of the strategies that we teach our students and teach others as far as creating business, you're not doing it 2 to 3 times a week to be consistent, to prospect around your listings and other listings, to be in front of buyers. If you're not doing that, you're not visible. You need to be an option. Being an option is what wins at the end of the day. That's all that matters. You know, if I were to ask every one of you, hey, do this one thing for 30 minutes every single day, and you'll create 8 transactions in the next 12 months. How many of you would do that? Hit like if you would do that. Either hit like or comment and give me would you do it? You're all like, yeah, I'd do it. I'd do it. You're all lying. Because 8 transactions means you would create a new transaction once every 6.5 weeks. Think about that. What you would do is you would stay consistent with that half-hour thing I asked you to do for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and you'd be like, this isn't working. What's next? And you haven't learned that the power in consistency. So pros, they get with their coach, they nail down a strategy, right? They nail down a strategy and they stay consistent because they know what they're doing is working. They're not focused on the lag measures. They're not focused on the result. They're not focused on whether they lost enough weight this week or not. They're focused on process. They're focused on the lead measure. They're focused on what they know works. They're focused on accountability and staying consistent no matter what, day after day, week after week. That is what a pro does. But we have too many schizophrenic people in our industry who don't understand the power of that consistency. And that should make a lot of you feel really good because it's that simple to get ahead of those people. Our industry is filled with those people, but it doesn't have to be you, okay? So we need to understand that visibility is my responsibility, but we need to dig deep into that database. We need to dig deep into that sphere, and we need to understand that the bigger the world gets, when times get tough like now, the smaller you can make it feel for your community, the more you're gonna win. It's really that simple, guys, okay? Number 5, last but not least, we have to make our hobby our career. We need to stop being hobbyists. We need to learn to make our hobby our career. In this market we're heading into, guys, please hear me. Hobbyists are not going to make it. You know, a lot of you are so worried about balance and work life and all this stuff. And here's a true fact that some of you need to remember that's just true. Like, the better you are, the worse your hours are. Think about what I just said. The better you are at your job, the worse your hours are. You know, I did a training yesterday, the day before. The days all mixed together. And I did a long training, then I did a meet and greet, and then I took a red eye home. I landed, I drove home from New York a couple hours, and then I jumped right on a live training in front of a bunch of people. And I was exhausted. Like, I was done. And I had to remind myself, you're busy because you're good. I had to remind myself, right? Like, sometimes you got to remind yourself, right? But that doesn't mean that it always has to be like that, right? There's this thing called leverage. We talked about this at the advance. You know, one of the people, we did an interview on the stage, and I loved it because one of the people that I spoke to, I've said for years that if you get hurt, you get sick, you get whatever that takes you out of your business, if your business doesn't still run, you don't have a career, you have a hobby. You don't have a business, you have a hobby. And she got into a situation where that had happened, where all of a sudden she got into an accident. She was sitting in the hospital, and she said, my voice was going through her head, and she's like, my business is falling apart now. I don't have a career. I don't have a business. I have a hobby, right? But what does that come through? That comes through leverage, right? One of the things, guys, when we talk about leverage, I say this all the time, but you guys need to hear me now. Every single person at the sound of my voice right now, I'm telling you, you need to, at minimum, have a TC, a transaction coordinator. It is time to run a business, okay? It's what your consumers are going to look for. It's what you're going to need in your life. You need to run a business. Now, here's a really cool thing we're doing. Very cool thing we're doing. We did this at the advance, and I'm going to do this today. If you guys see that banner that is across the bottom of mine right now, clearedandclosed.com. I believe in what I'm saying to you so much. Every single person who is not a current client of clearedandclosed.com, you're getting a free transaction. That is the next giveaway. So every one of you watching right now who are like, I don't know if I can use a TC, I don't know, whatever. My company is going to give you a free transaction, meaning you're going to meet with one of our transaction coordinators. You're going to set up your customized workflow, and they're going to do the first one for free. No contract, no obligation to go further. We are hoping, like a good crack dealer, that we're going to get you hooked. Okay. You're going to see it. You're going to realize how great it is. You're going to see that there's no commitment long-term. You're going to see that if the contract doesn't close, you don't pay anything. I need you guys to start to learn the power of leverage, because it will change your life. It will change the number of consumers, your business's life. It will change the experience you have with your children and everything you do when you start to learn leverage, okay? Leverage means having a TC, means having a coach. It means having an admin at some point. It means having an idea of where it is at the end of the day you're really trying to go. Let me show you guys something here. I think I've got this pulled up. I'm going to know in 1 second. Yep, here you go. Take a look at this. I'll put this up on the screen in a second. If you go to jaredjamestoday.com/7 stages, these are the stages for growth within your business. You need to decide which stage you belong at, okay? Most of you will never get to stage 4, stage 5. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that today because this is not an organizational, business growth type of session today. But you need to have an idea of where you're going so that all of your decisions you make today are filtered through that, okay? Where it is that you're actually going, okay? You by yourself moving forward is not a business. You by yourself is not what's going to make it long term. You by yourself is not what is going to get consumers to work with you, okay? We want you to not only have a successful business, we want you ultimately to do it in a way that you are loving your business and that you have time to do other things, because what good is all of this success and all of this stuff if you're not enjoying what you're doing? You know, one of the things I did at the Advance, which I've never done before, was a little risky, but I put up all of the different ways that I leverage in my personal life. And I hope you guys understand this, but like, leverage is a powerful thing, you know, and I said to the audience, I said, I'm able to do more than almost every single person in this room because I do less than almost every single person in this room. Think about that. I'm able to get more done and do more than almost everybody who's even listening or watching right now because I do less than almost everybody who's listening or watching right now. Now, look, guys, I'm about the hustle. I just told you I'm red eyeing home doing this. I'm running several businesses. I got plenty that I'm doing, but I put up this thing and I'm like, look, guys, someone comes and cleans my house. Someone comes, I've got a mobile company that comes wherever I am throughout the week and washes my car. I've got meals that are delivered for stuff. I've got odd jobs that are done. I leverage out almost every part of my life that I don't need to be a part of so that I can use my time for the things that are most efficient, most effective, need my time, and then have time for the things I really care about, my personal relationships and those things. And I'm not saying you're going to get there overnight, but you've got to stop looking at this business as a hobbyist. You've got to start to create leverage. You've got to start to create an actual business, because moving forward, that is what's going to win. That's what a pro does. We have a whole section of our coaching for team leader coaching, which is really just organizational structure, because I believe in this so much. I know that it's what ultimately matters. I know that it's what actually creates success for people and allows people to have true success, which is not just the income, but everything else that you really want in your life. Okay. Guys, the market has shifted, right? This is a pros market. Pros are going to win. Like I've been saying forevermore now. Okay. Nobody is going to win in this market we're in because they winged it. Nobody's going to win because they've been around for 30 years. You know, someone said that to me the other day. I just go into listing appointments and I tell them I've been doing this for 35 years. And I didn't say this to them, but that you might have sucked for 35 years. I don't know. You might have been great. I don't know. But being around long enough doesn't mean you're great at what you do. You know, you need to remember why you work so hard. Like, what's the point of this business? You know, while everybody's freaking out right now, what are we doing? We need to get super serious right now about who we're surrounding ourselves with. You know, times are hard, right? Times are going to get tight. Times are, you know, that's what we're heading into. And it's getting a little scary for some of you. Okay. And I'm telling you that most of the people that you hang around, it is much easier for them to give you a helping hand when you're down than it is for you to for them to applaud when you're up. If you're surrounded with those kind of people, we got to start to look at that. You got to make sure that you're not surrounded by people that want you to win and they don't see your success as their failure. Okay. That's not the group that we need to be around, especially with the market we're heading into. You know, I ended the Advance last month and I said, listen, most of the people that you're surrounded by want you to do better. They just don't want you to do better than them. Think about that. Most people want you to do better. They just don't want you to do better than them. And that's not the group you can be around. You know, once you decide what's acceptable for you and what you're after, you've got to build an environment that supports that, which includes the people and the voices that you listen to, the patterns that you follow. You know, you've got to build an ecosystem that supports what it is that you say that your goal is. You can't go on a diet and then fill your house with all sorts of, you know, junk food. You can't make business goals and then have no accountability, have no coach, have no idea of what you're going to do every day. You can't do what you've always done. You know, I put up a post on my stories the other day on my social, and it was the first time I've done this in decades. I didn't have one piece of candy. I don't think you guys understand how proud I am of that. Let me say that again for you guys. I went through Halloween and did not have one piece of candy. That's crazy. But I planned ahead of time. I made sure I wasn't in situations where it was going to be there. I didn't go to certain gatherings because I knew I was going to, like, it's possible. If I cannot have candy at Halloween, you can certainly create an ecosystem that supports what it is that you say that you actually want. But you have to get intentional about that ecosystem or you're just not going to succeed. It's not difficult to wake up early if you don't stay up late, right? It's not difficult to eat well if you don't have bad options. It's not difficult to exercise when you lay out your clothes and you have it on your agenda. It's not difficult to make your calls, make content, do the things you need to do within your business if it's in your calendar and you have accountability set up, right? But what do you have to do? You got to get with your coach. You got to say, here's what I want. Here's what it's going to take. And then you commit. That's it. You've got 52 days left to set up whether you're going to get what you want in 2024 or you're not going to get what you want in 2024. You've got 52 days left to decide whether you're going to create momentum or whether you're going to create a barrier to everything that you want in 2024, whether you're going to get ahead of so many people or whether you're just going to stay in the pack. You've got 52 days left to do that. And yet everyone is looking for the latest app. They're looking for the latest tool. They're looking for the latest idea. But what you really need is you need focus, you need execution, and you need consistency, which comes from accountability. That's what you need right now as a pro. We hear all the time, the grass isn't always greener, and I'll say that to you guys as well. Many of us are living in our heads, and when things get tough, we start to dream about, what we really want to do. And we read the 4-hour work week. You're like, I just want to be laying on a beach and running a business and doing whatever. But if you got real about that vision, about that idea, you'd be bored out of your mind. You'd get way out of shape. You'd be drinking every day. You'd lose focus. You'd have no purpose. Sometimes we need to stop and remind ourselves that it's good to be in the struggle. The struggle is what gives us purpose. It is good to be in the game. It's not a bad thing. What did I say in the beginning? Stress can either cause extreme anxiety and stress and all these other, disease and whatever, or it can build resilience. It can build strength. We have to learn to appreciate that. This new market is going to require you to be fully committed to win. Hobbyists are not going to win. You have got to be all in. But we have to remind ourselves that, look, things that are tough are worth it. Raising kids is tough, but it's worth it. Working out is tough, but it's worth it. Relationships are difficult. They're tough, but they're worth it. And this business right now, it's tough, but it's worth it. Period. It's worth it. Things that aren't tough aren't worth it. And a certain percentage of you that are listening to me right now, we've got to get this through our head that these things are going to be tough. They're going to take accountability. They're going to take commitment, but somebody's going to win. We came from a record market of 6.1 million sales over COVID, which was not realistic. And we're now going to go back to a 4.1 to 4.4 million sales, which, by the way, we call that pre-COVID. And you know what we called those years pre-COVID? We called them record years. It's all perspective, guys. The pro is the one that's going to have perspective. They're going to have a plan. They're going to have accountability. They're going to have a coach. They're going to have a TC, they're going to build a business, and they're ultimately going to win. And the rest are going to stand back and be scared and let the media tell them where to focus and be riddled with anxiety and and someone else is going to win the whole time. And I hope that's going to be you. Okay. I'm going to get to questions in a second here, but I just want to say really quick, a couple of the things that I've mentioned. Number one, I'm putting up on the screen right now. I keep saying this, you need a coach heading into the new year. I'm going to make an offer that I've never made before, but I'm going to do it right now. If you go to that link, jaredjamestoday.com/offers, one of them on there is going to be for coaching. It's not going to say this on there, but we are going to give you the equivalent for those of you that sign up for a one-on-one coach because you know you need it heading into what we're doing, that are willing to commit to themselves. We're going to give you the equivalent of 2 months for free of coaching. Okay. So go fill that out. That's a limited time thing. You're going to have to mention it when you talk to the person from our office, when you do the consult, because it's not something that's on there. It's not whatever. You just need to say, I was on the business plan training and Jared said, okay. So you're going to need to bring that up. Tom or someone, if you could put that link in the chat, jaredjamestoday.com/offers. Okay. Mention that to them. There's other things on there. If you didn't do, there's a link on there also for cleared and closed. Every one of you is getting offered a free transaction with a transaction coordinator. No commitment needed, nothing. Go take advantage of that. There is literally no commitment. You don't have to but I want you to see, I want you to experience it. Okay. We need to start to look at our business like a business. And I hope that for every one of you. And again, don't just listen to what I'm saying, guys. Watch what I'm doing. My whole life is leveraged. Everything I do, I'm investing in myself, investing in other people so that I can do more. So I'm not asking you to do anything that I myself am not doing, okay? Last but not least, before I get to questions, if you didn't download the business plan and the tracker, you can do that now. Just go to jaredjamestoday.com/business plan. It's all there for you. I think it's showing across the screen now. jaredjamestoday.com/business plan. Very simple. Go download it. You put your email in. It's going to send it off to you. So you have it that way. Last but not least, I'm going to get to questions. If you haven't yet, one last time, if you want to win those tickets to the 2024 Jared James Advance in Nashville, Tennessee, October 28th and 29th, you can make sure that you liked this live, you commented where you're coming in from, you hit that share button, right? If you shared, that's one of the things we're looking for. And make sure you went to connectwithjared.com, connected on all the platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all this stuff. We are going to pick a winner this weekend to get 2 free tickets to that event. Can't believe we're planning for another event now. But with that being said, guys, I am going to get into the questions that you have. I'm going to jump over and start looking at what kind of questions we have. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to hang here for a little bit and I'll answer anything you want, okay? I hope this was helpful for you. I really do. There's so many other things I could cover, but there's only so much time and so many things that we can cover in that amount of time. If you really want to do well in the coming year, guys, get one of our coaches, get a TC, get them, like, set yourself up, invest in yourself on a level that you deserve that success. All right. As I'm getting into these questions, I just want to give you guys kudos. We had a crap ton of people on here. Like, I have the list of, everyone within my StreamYard here. There's thousands of you. So amazing. It never ceases to amaze me. I'm filled with so much gratitude because I remember doing these and having nobody on here. So kudos to all of you. I love you guys. I hope I'll see you guys in person soon too. Someone wrote, TC works, transaction coordinator works. I've been using cleared and closed for a while now, and it sets you above the rest. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Can you purchase advance tickets yet? Yes. If you go to jaredjamestoday.com/advance, early bird tickets are there. There's also there the replay of 2023. You can still get the replay of all the main stage sessions and all of the breakouts. That's all there for you. Let me see if I have questions. Jared is a gem. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. Solid sesh. I like it. Watching from Newfoundland, Canada. What's up? Toronto. Awesome. New York. Thank you, Jared. I'm going to try to get through all the thank yous and get the questions, guys. If you have your questions, put them in here. I'm just trying to get through. There's a lot of people on here. Does the 2 months free apply if we're re-upping our coaching for another year? Josh, I think if you're doing the year up front, there's something we can do. So reach out to Joe and talk to him and tell him that I told you to ask. Okay. What else do we have here? Don't see the share option, so I sent it to people. Thanks, but there's just a little arrow, I think. What does it do? Like a little arrow is the share button, or it says share. I'm not really sure. Need to see this again. Hopefully this will be recorded. The replay should be on here. It's also on my YouTube. Don't miss the mastermind in February. Yeah, guys, we're going to be pushing that soon. Let me see here, guys. I'm trying to get the questions, guys, because I just got a lot of stuff here. Let me keep scrolling. There's hundreds and hundreds. Okay, what are the 5 points? Can I repeat the 5 points? That's a great question. Okay, so the first point was to get clear on the benchmarks that matter. Okay, that was your numbers. What's the number of appointments? Number 2 was get your finances right. Okay, we talked about finances. Number 3 was get your mind right. Okay, up here is where you win and you lose. Number 4 was dig deeper into your database. Remember, we are not Tinder. We are eHarmony. Okay, visibility is your responsibility. And number 5, last but not least, make your hobby your career, okay? You can't be a hobbyist, okay? So we've got that on there. Chris, will you be at R4? I'm not sure yet. We are up in the air, so I am not sure if I will be at R4. We shall see. Let me see what other questions. Are you going to Anaheim? Tony, I assume you're talking about NAR. Am I going to Anaheim? I am scheduled to go there, but it depends on how far my son's team goes in the state tournament. So my son is in a soccer tournament, the state tournament. They have their second round today, and they had their first round the other day. They won. My boy was on the news, scored some goals there. But if they make it to semifinals for the states, I'm canceling my trip. So right now I'm scheduled to be in Anaheim, but If my son moves on, priorities. You know how it goes. Great stuff. Where would the replay be? It's going to be right here. So literally wherever you're watching it, it should just record and be thereafter. The tracker is not on your website. The business plan is. Yes, if you go to jaredjamestoday.com/business plan, there's 2 buttons. One is for the business plan. The other one is for the tracker. If you're having issues and you're not sure, what to do with that, just reach out to someone at our company and they'll help you out. Let me see what else I got here. Do you do events in Canada? Yes, I do a lot of events in Canada. That's why we have so many people in Canada on here. I was supposed to be going to Israel. That's been canceled now. I go all over, guys. I do Canada, and we're booking a European tour right now. It's just, there's only just so much time. So I'm trying to spread it out as much as possible. But again, these are first world problems. These are good problems to have. What was number 1? The first one was getting your benchmarks, understanding your benchmarks, meaning your numbers, number of appointments for you in particular. What does it take? And then building a calendar around that. Is cleared and closed and your TCs knowledgeable and available in Alberta, Canada? Absolutely. We do a ton of clients in Canada. And they actually, before they even work with you, they sit down with you, they do a Zoom, and they create a customized workflow specifically for you. So absolutely. I'm just looking. I'm just trying to see. I hope you're going to be at R4. It's up in the air right now. We shall see. Let them know. We'll see. Where can we get the letters from the advance? Well, if you were at the advance, the letters are both on the app, the Huva app, underneath each session, or you can go to our Facebook group, Jared James Coaching, and go to files, and all of the templates are there as well. The tracker and the business plan are at jaredjamestoday.com/business plan. Good luck to your son. Thank you. At what point do we form an LLC? Right away. Whether it's an LLC or an S Corp, you need to talk to your accountant about that. You should have an S Corp or an LLC. Generally, an S Corp is when you're getting paid a salary. But again, talk to your accountant. I don't want to give advice on that stuff. Do not stay as an individual, though. Can someone repeat number 5? It was make your hobby your career. So don't be a hobbyist. If your business can't run without you, you have a hobby, not a career. Okay. You need leverage in order to have a business. Congrats to your son. Good for you. Go, Grayson. Hope you have to cancel for your son's success. That's right. Let me see here. I'm trying to get to questions, guys. There's just so many of you on here. If you're a new agent and want to market yourself to all your Facebook friends and contacts, how would you introduce yourself? DM, text with your contacts? Sure, all of the above. I would also create video. Guys, don't underestimate video, right? Like, look at this, guys. Let me just be very real world with you for a second, okay? So this is just one platform, okay? Here's my Instagram, one platform, right? I put up, in the last 2 weeks, I put up like 3 videos, right? One of those videos has been shared 400 times and seen by tens of thousands. The other one has been shared 600 times and whatever. You're a local agent. You don't even need that kind of shares. But the point is, people are watching them, okay? So create an intro video. And then if you have a database of your people, create a custom audience and send it to them, or take that video and send it to your database, like email that video, introducing yourself, what you're doing, what you're looking for, why you're doing it, like visibility. Don't get caught up in making sure you're saying the perfect thing and everything else. Just be an option when you first begin. But you can also take that video and then promote it to your city, promote it to your town, make a big deal of the fact you're in real estate. Here's why. Visible, visible, visible. Our job is to give people the opportunity to know us, KNOW, so they have the chance to know us, NO, right? We're not in high school. It's not about not being rejected. It's about giving people the opportunity to reject us every single day. Make a video. As a new agent, how should you enter numbers in that business plan tracker? Talk to your broker or a local realtor you're friend with and just say, hey, what are like some, realistic numbers I should be expecting here? And then lowball it, okay? So if you know that you're gonna have a 30% closing rate when you meet with people, or they say 50%, figure it as 30%, okay? Like just figure low, and if you do better, that's fantastic. Saw me at the Kentucky State meeting last year. Can't wait to do it again. Thank you. Consistency. Just saw you in Toronto. Yep, I was just there. Just at MAR, I was just there. Guys, I've been a lot of places. I'm seeing all sorts of stuff here, guys. All right, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump off, get your coach, get your TC, go to connectwithjared.com. Make sure you're connected on all the platforms. I'm going to be checking my messages, doing all that, and answering you guys all throughout the day. You guys are incredible. Like, honestly, the numbers of you that showed up here, it's absolutely mind-boggling. So I appreciate the heck out of you guys. Although we give you a lot of options for things that you can sign up for. We can get a coach through us. You can be in First Up. You can do like all these kind of things, a transaction coordinator, marketing, all these things. The reason I continue to give you so much free stuff, right? All the videos we put out on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and all this stuff is because you guys continue to show up. I love the heck out of you guys. Do me a favor one last time, guys. Hit that share button. Share this with someone else. The more we do those kinds of things, I'm going to do more of these lives. So if you want me to do more live trainings, share this. If I see results, like I'm like, this is working, my office will tell you. I'll keep doing things when I see a result, okay? I love the heck out of you guys. I'll catch up throughout the day. I got to get moving here. I got to get to the second round of this tournament for my son. Hopefully we get some good news. I love you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for being on. Hit that share button.